Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Zuraini binti Abdullah. So for today, I will present my research proposal from the subject of development of research proposal EDU87014. So my student ID is MC250736116 for the program of Doctor of Education. So, for today, I am the presenter for my own research proposal. The title is AI Integrated Leadership, a framework of data-driven decision-making among middle managers in higher educational institutions. So this is the table of content. We have for the introduction, literature review, research methodology, contributions of research study, and also for the conclusions. So overall for the chapter 1, for the introduction, we have for the abstract, introduction, background and rationale, problem statement, why this research matters, research objective and research questions, scope of the study, and also for the significance of the study. Okay, on the abstract, I highlight on artificial intelligence, which is the computational technologies that enable machines to perform tasks requiring human intelligence, such as predictive analytics and scenario modeling. And also highlights on the higher education institution that face pressures from globalization, technology, finances, and student expectation. Middle managers, departments heads, program directors, deans that also struggle with the evidence-based decision-making due to the data overload and also for the limited analytical capacity. This study proposes an AI integrated leadership framework to help middle managers make effective and also ethical data-driven decisions. A mixed method design survey and also semi-structured interviews will generate a practical framework linking AI capabilities with leadership practices. Now we move on to the introductions. So on the introduction, context is basically is rapid change in a higher education institution that demands smart decision making, and also focus on the middle managers' roles, and it translates strategic visions into operational actions that face resource quality and responsiveness challenges. For the AI potential, it predicts trends, optimize resources, support data-driven decision-making, and yet underutilized at the middle management level. For the background and rationale, again, I'm highlighting for the data-driven decision-making that is the systemic use of data to guide organizational choices. Higher education instructions confront enrollment fluctuation, funding cuts, competition, and demand for personalized learning. Current AI use primarily in teaching, for example, for the personalized learning, automated grading, and also high-level strategic forecasting. And also, I focus also on the gap, which means limited research on how middle managers adopt AI for operational leadership. For the theoretical lenses, I'm highlighting on the technology acceptance model or TAM that focuses on perceived usefulness and ease from the Davis 1989. Okay, it is a transformational leadership theory, emphasizes capacity building and adaptive learning. Now we go for the problem statement. So on the problem statement, focus on the core issue, which means for the middle managers lack user-friendly data tools, data literacy, and mechanism to turn raw data into actionable insights. For the AI gap, existing AI application, target teaching, and strategic planning, leaving middle management decision-making underserved. While for the consequences of no framework, it missed the opportunities for the student success, inefficient resource use, and also misaligned operation. This will weaken the institutional resilience. All right. Why this research matters? I have a lot of why this research should be conducted seriously, because it can bridges the leadership and technology, focuses on the middle managers, addresses decision-making challenges, advances responsible AI governance, practical for the institution, support digital transformation in higher education institution, and also it also can contribute as a globally. All right. For the bridges leadership and technology, it will connect AI adoption with the leadership practices in higher education, especially for the underexplored area. For the focuses on middle managers, because it highlights the often overlooked role of dean, heads of department, and program directors as the key implementers of institutional strategy. While for the addresses decision-making challenges, it provides solutions for data overload and limited analytical capacity among higher education institution leaders. And also for the advances responsible AI governance, it will ensure the AI is used ethically, transparently, and inclusively in education. And also it's practical for the institution that helps universities optimize resources, improve student outcomes, and also strengthen the accountability. Whereas it also can support the digital transformation in higher education institutions, especially aligns with the global calls for innovation, competitiveness, and also future-ready education system. And also contributes for the globally that offers a transferable framework adaptable to higher education across different countries and contexts. Okay, this is my research objective and research questions. So for the my research objective number one is to examine negotiation strategies, contextual judgment, and ethics in AI-driven decisions. Okay, for the research question number one is how to middle managers demonstrate professional agency with AI. So I also have for the sub question for the research question for objective one that I will conduct in a semi-structured interviews. The question is, which contextual factors shape AI integrated leadership, and also how do ethical concerns influence AI adoption? So for this RO1 and RRQ1, the justification is on the highlights human technology interplay and ethical safeguard. And we go for the research objective number two, develop an evidence-based framework for ethical AI integration. And the research question number for the objective two, what structural organizational components enable AI integration? And the sub question for the research objective two, so the research question 2 and 3 is how can decision making framework be ethically adjusted for AI? And what resources support sustained AI-driven decision framework? So for this research objective 2 and research question 2, the justification is to provide concrete guidance for the institutions. All right, this is the table or the mapping of research objective, research question, and expected outcomes. I already explained it in the previous slide. So for the research objective 1 and RQ1, research question 1, the expected outcome is to have the deeper understanding of the strategies, challenges, and ethical consideration faced by middle managers in AI-enabled decision making. While for the RO2, research objective 2, and also RQ2, so the expected outcome is the development of a practical evidence-based framework for AI integrated leadership to guide the middle managers in the higher education institutions. All right. Let's move to the scope of the study. Okay, we have for the scope delimitation or also the limitations. For the scope, it will focus, my research study will focus on the Malaysian higher education institution that focus on the middle managers. For example, the roles as department chairs, program directors, or deans. And the limitation, it will exclude the senior leadership and faculty exclude the AI application for teaching, for example, the adaptive learning, and the limitations, okay? Qualitative depth may limit generalizability. AI adoption levels vary across the institution, and cultural context may affect the transferability. Now let's move on to the significance of the study. Okay, we have the theoretical contribution. This will extend AI research beyond pedagogy to the operational leadership. And also it will merges the data-driven decision-making, ethical governance, and transformational leadership into a novel framework. And also for the societal impact, it will enhance the resource efficiency, student outcomes, and global competitiveness of higher education institutions. This will promote ethical, fair, and context-aware AI use in the higher education in the higher education. All right. Let's move to the chapter 2 for the literature review. In the literature review, we have for the literature review analyze, conceptual framework, components, independent variable, dependent variable, mediating variable, and moderator, and also for the hypothesis. All right. For the literature review analysis, I have 4 here. Okay. From the Grigora 2025, it described AI's predictive and prescriptive power, shifting governance toward flexibility. So this is uh, concentrating on the AI as a leadership tool. While for my second literature review, a study research by Rashid and colleagues, 2025, warned that poor oversight can cause over-reliance and equity issues that mainly focus on the responsible AI governance. Whilst for the Gaftanziva and colleagues 2023, stated the stress real-time analytics for policy, so the outcomes and resource allocation. This is mainly on the data-driven decision-making importance. And the last one on the leadership competencies, a research study by Pfeiffer and colleague 2022 argue digital literacy and adaptability are essential for managing AI-driven uncertainty. All right, now we move on to the conceptual framework. So overall, for the overview of the framework, AI capabilities, responsible governance, and leadership competencies influence the middle managers' data-driven decision-making behaviors, moderated by the institution's strategic stance on AI, ultimately affecting institutional outcomes for the ethical practice, decision quality, and also for the performance. So actually, I already comes out with this diagram for the conceptual framework of AI integrated data-driven decision making among middle managers in higher educational institutions. So and the visual maps actually is come from 4 core components: AI capabilities, responsible AI governance, leadership competencies, strategic stance to the mediating data-driven decision-making behaviors, and also the resulting institutional outcomes illustrating the hypothesis pathway. So you can see here the conceptual framework that already comes out by the source from the previous uh, literature review that I already stated before to the previous slides. All right. For the components, so I will try to highlight again the independent variables that connected with my conceptual framework is I have for the AI capabilities. It can predict predictive diagnostic prescriptive tools, responsible AI governance for the ethics transparency, also accountability, and also the leadership competencies and adaptive capacity, digital literacy, adaptability, and also for the resilience. Well, for the mediating variables, we have here for the middle managers, especially in the data-driven decision-making behaviors. For the moderator, is the strategic stance on AI, whether it comes with tools or versus transformative, objective, and also for dependent variable is the institutional outcomes, where the concerns on the ethical practices, effective decision, and also high performance. So this is the conceptual framework of hypothesis. Okay, you can see here the IV, the mediating or moderator, also for the dependent variable. So this is actually the hypothesis. I have for the code, starting for the hypothesis 1, 2, 3, hypothesis 4, A, B, and C, and so hypothesis 5, A, and B. So I already highlight this here with the hypothesis statement and also for the type of relationship. If you can see here from the hypothesis 1, 2, and 3, the type of relationship is direct effect, which means from the independent variables towards the dependent variables. Whereas for the hypothesis for A, B, and C, the type of relationship is the mediation or mediating from the independent variables goes to the mediative variables and relates with the dependent variables. And we go to the hypothesis 5, A and B. It is the moderation, meaning for the moderator on the independent variables towards the dependent variables. All right. And also for the hypothesis 5B, okay, the use of strategic AI for data analysis is a key factor in an organization's ability to succeed. The type of relationship is a moderation from the moderator variable on the mediative variable towards the dependent variable. Now let's move to the chapter 3 on the research methodology. In this chapter, we have the research design, sampling, data collection, plan for data analysis, and also for the Gantt chart or the project timeline. Alright, for the research design, as I stated before earlier, I will do it in the mixed method sequential exponential design. We have two phases, quantitative and also qualitative. So for the quantitative, I will conduct a survey. So estimated around 200 to 250 million managers to identify AI adoption trends and decision-making practices. And also for the qualitative phase, I will conduct a semi-structured interviews around 15 to 20 participants for deeper insight into negotiation, ethics, and also contextual challenges. For the sampling, I have for the purposes sampling that targeting middle managers in Malaysian higher education institution. As for the quantitative, I will focus on the broad representation across institution for the statistical power. And for the qualitative, I will use for the maximum variation sampling to capture diverse contexts. For the data collection, for quantitative, the method is from the structured electronic survey, might be from the Google form, survey form, and the instrument is the Likert scale items on AI use, decision making, ethical concern that will focus on the capture prevalence and also patterns. For the qualitative, the method is semi-structured interviews that will conducted interviews for 45 to 60 minutes. The instrument will be audio recorded or transcript, and it will focus on the explore lived experiences, strategies, and ethical deliberations. Now, for the data analysis, for the quantitative, I will use descriptive stats, regression, and structural equation modeling or SEM using the SPSS or similar. And then for the qualitative, thematic analysis Brown and Clark 2006 via NVivo, 6-step coding process to generate themes that contextualize quantitative result. And for the integration, convergent synthesis to produce the AI integrated leadership framework. So this is my timeline visualization Gantt chart. So actually, the guide chart is outlined for 18-month schedule. It will show you the overlapping activities such as proposal development, ethics approval, data collection, analysis, integration, and writing, ensuring a systematic progression towards the final deliverable. Okay, the contribution of my research study. Okay, I focus on three. The first one is the academic contributions. Okay, it will contribute on by fills a literature gap by integrating AI with leadership and decision-making frameworks in higher education. It also provides a theoretical model of AI integrated leadership applicable in academic management studies. And also it can expand understanding of middle management in leadership in higher education beyond traditional top-down studies. Okay, the second contribution is for the practical or institutional contribution. While it offers higher education institution a framework for AI adoption that strengthens data-driven decision-making practices, it provides guidelines for policy and strategy on responsible AI use in institutional governance. It enhances capacity building among middle managers to use AI effectively and responsibly. And also, it supports institutional transformation by fostering innovation, efficiency, and inclusivity. And the last contribution of my research study, it will be contributes for the societal global contribution. Of course, it can contribute to the global discourse on AI in education with a leadership-focused perspective, encourages ethical, fair, and inclusive practices in AI-driven decision-making, and also it can help prepare higher education system for future workforce needs and societal challenges. Last but not least, for the conclusion, the proposal addresses the critical gap of AI underutilization by middle managers in higher education institutions. By developing a validated AI-integrated leadership framework, the study aims to improve institutional resilience, operational efficiency, and student outcomes while safeguarding ethical standards. The mixed method approach ensures both breadth and depth, positioning the research to make a significant theoretical and practical contribution to higher education leadership in the digital era. I think that's all from me for my research proposal presentation. Thank you.